For Louisiana versus all y'all, Jarrett Roser here today with Warren Easton Sr., Alred Luke Jr. We call him Dash. We can talk a little bit about that at some point. But, man, you guys, it's deep playoff time again, and here you guys are again. And here Edna Karr is again, getting ready for a huge Class 4A semifinal at the end of the week. How have things been going overall on y'all's end, just kind of navigating this weird season and then getting into playoff times and having some success again?
Well, I would want to say this whole season, starting off for the Rockets, lost 2 games straight, then we went eight games winning streak. So on this winning streak, we've been focused on the little things, the little things at practice, the little things in the game, just focusing on us. Because I feel like nobody can beat Warren Easton but Warren Easton, and it's that simple.
I wanted to ask you some of the conversation after the two losses early and what kind of worked to turn some things around, what you guys potentially talked to some of the younger guys about, stuff like that, and what has clicked so well during that 8-game winning streak that you mentioned to now be back in a state semifinal scenario. What has that been like? What have been the major improvements and mantras and talks through that process?
I feel like we had to really focus on us. And like last year, we did the same thing. Last year, we didn't start off too well, and then we made it to the dome. So like, I feel like we've been there before, so we just knew what we had to do already from the past year.
And you guys have had some seasons like that. You mentioned last year where you guys take a little bit of growing pains and figuring yourself out at some point in the regular season. But then when it's time, usually come October or November, or this year, November, December, that you kind of hit your stride. Tell me a little bit about just kind of the way that has gone for y'all, what the coaching staff does that you feel like has y'all peak at the right time no matter where you start.
I feel like the coaching staff come in through the season with a plan, especially with this type of season. Like we didn't have no spring, no summer workouts, none of that, So like we all had to get that bond together. And once the coaches made sure we built that bond together, I feel like we're a great team now.
What has it been like for you now being a veteran? I mean, you've played a role on this team in this program the last few years, but now you're one of the old guys. It's your last go round. What does that kind of leadership piece look like for you as you continue to be more and more experienced and now you're a senior working with some of these young guys? How has that been in terms of just that increased leadership behind the scenes type role for you?
Well, I would say mostly for the young guys, I just try to give them all the knowledge I learned, give them everything I know, because I want them to, keep this legacy going. And hopefully they can win a state championship as we plan to win a state championship this year. And, I'm a reflection of the program. So what I give off to them is what they'll give off to the younger guys that come through. And that's all it is. I feel like the leadership I had to step up because Sedrick Van Pran was the leader and Shoddy, but they're gone now. So like the senior class had to step up and the coaches helped us with that. That's all it is.
How much have y'all heard from some of those older guys that are off at college and whatnot in the span of this weird season? And now as you get into playoff runs, I'm imagining Shoddy's probably sent a couple messages. You may have heard from Berga at some point. What's been kind of there as they saw the way some things fell into place or as they tried to help in some spots? What have you heard from them?
Mostly all of the scenes from last year and the older guys from the years when I was young. All they say is focus on the little things. Like we gotta focus on the little thing and stay focused. We gotta stay focused the whole playoff stretch to make that run, to finish it all, to do something that's never been done before.
And I mentioned you guys get to the semis, and there's Edna Karr again. You guys have played one another every regular season since well before you were in high school. You guys have met in the Dome the last 2 years. We're in the semis what would have been your freshman year 3 years ago. And I'm guessing when you played them in the regular season, there was probably a sense that, you know what, we're probably going to see these guys again down the road just because that's the way it's happened.
Yeah, like we always knew that we'll have to see them again. Like our coaches made it known that we knew we were gonna have to see them again, and it's all about getting over that hump. Like we always get to the big game, but we got to finish it. That's all it is. And I feel like this is the year that we're gonna finish it.
What are those games like with Edna Karr for folks that, I mean, haven't played in the game, certainly, or even some folks maybe around the state that haven't been there for that atmosphere and that level of intensity that seems to happen each and every time these two match up? East Bank versus West Bank, two of the best programs in 4A year in and year out. What's it like to be a player in those games on a Friday night or whatever night they end up being in the playoffs?
I really feel like our games are as close to a college game that you'll find in high school, like in New Orleans, well, in Louisiana especially. Like I feel like our games are really tense. Everybody at each other's heads. Like everybody, there's some of the best talent from the whole city on both teams. So like I just feel like this environment is good to know how the next level environment games will be and things like that.
Going into another one of those in a state semifinal scenario, do you have to talk to the younger guys at all about just kind of managing some of that hype level, or since they went through it in the regular season and have been through some battles now at this point in the playoffs, are they pretty well versed in how to handle some of this?
Well, I feel like at first at the start of the playoffs, we wasn't, they wasn't able to handle it. Like they wanted to deal with the hype. They wanted to deal, but we had to preach, don't feed into the hype. Be you, be the player you know you are. Don't chase the game. Let the game come to you. Things like that.
You mentioned kind of the preparation that these sort of games give you guys for careers on the next level at the college level. You've had a little bit of college attention start coming your way. You have also been a guy that's excelled in some of these games for some of the other colleges that are kind of still gathering information on a few of y'all. How would you describe your game, what you feel like you bring to the next level, and what kind of your skill set? Because you do so much at Easton at the high school level, where you kind of feel like you transition best and fit potentially at that next level.
I feel at the next level, I will be a pure playmaker. Like, just give me the ball and I'm going to make a play for you. I feel like I play best in open field, but I can do the down and dirty work, block, do those type of things. But I feel like I'm a playmaker. All I need is the ball and the play is going to happen.
Any other message? If a college coach comes across this video and they're saying, all right, let me find out a little bit more about Dash Luke, what's kind of the message? You might have hit on it some there with the playmaker talk, but what do you hope you can kind of impart about yourself, whether your game or your personality or character or any of that?
I feel like I would be a good fit to any program. I feel like every team needs a guy like me. Like, I'm going to lead by example. I don't bring all the trouble to the program, things like that. And I just feel like I'll be a good fit to any program. That's it.
There you go. Again, he's Alred Luke Jr., senior over at Warren Easton, getting ready for an 8th matchup with Edna Karr in the past 4 years, a state semifinal in Class 4A, and a trip to the state championship on the line. Appreciate you chatting some, man.
Thank you.
For Louisiana versus all y'all, Jarrett Roser.